Hey, hockey fans, March 4th, there were 4 games on the board, and it looked like the day was going to go really well with Philadelphia taking on Washington. Philadelphia dominated. They got number 7 and beat Washington 5-2. It was a great game, actually. Then Columbus against Calgary, the second game. It looked like Columbus was going to take that one. They had a 2-0 lead. They let Calgary crawl back into it, pushed it into overtime, and Calgary ended up winning the game 3-2. Colorado and Anaheim. I thought Colorado would walk away with this game, and Anaheim put up a dirty, tough fight in this game, and they put it into overtime as well. They won 4-3. And then Vancouver, they didn't have anything going right for them. I mean, Arizona, the puck was bouncing in their favor. The first goal over the back of the net off Demko's back in the net. I mean, whatever. Arizona ended up winning the game 4-2. So I didn't get my best bet, and out of my action, I only got 1 out of 4. I got my Flyers money line. The rest I didn't get. So my best bet now is at 7 and 8, unfortunately, with a 2-game losing streak, which we're going to change on March 5th. So March 5th, there's 10 games. Let's get right into it and make some picks and, hopefully make some money. Pittsburgh against Buffalo. Buffalo 5-5-0 in their last 10, current 4-game losing streak. Hutton is probable in net for Buffalo, and their last game was a loss to Winnipeg 3-1. Pittsburgh 4-6-0 in their last 10, current 1-game winning streak. Third in the Metropolitan. Jari is probable, and their last game was a 7-3 victory over Ottawa. Pittsburgh lost 6 games before that win over Ottawa, so I'm not going to say they're back on track because it was Ottawa. The Sabres seem to have had Pittsburgh's number this season. They lead the series 2-0 with a 3-1 victory in October, and then more recently a 5-2 victory in February. Eichel's going to be playing hard. I think he's got a 5-game drought, and that's one of the reasons that they've got a 4-game losing streak. So I see him coming out hard. I think they're going to be happy to be back at home off a terrible road trip. And I said I wouldn't bet against Pittsburgh, so I'm going to take Buffalo, and I might look at some action there at plus 1.5 for Buffalo. But I'm going to pick Buffalo to win the game. Second game, Montreal against Tampa. Tampa 5-5-0 in their last 10, current 1-game losing streak. Second in the Atlantic, and Vasilevsky is probable in net. Their last game was a 2-1 loss to Boston. Tight game, great game. Montreal 4-4-2 in their last 10, current 2-game winning streak. Price is probable in net. Last game, Montreal defeated the Islanders in fashion 6-2. The Lightning lead the season series 3-0, 3-1 in October, 5-4 in December, 2-1 in January, and this is their final meeting, and Tampa's going to look to sweep. Montreal is 0-5 straight up when playing on the road against Tampa. The total has gone over 7 times out of the last 8 games, so I might look at the over here, but my second official pick is going to be Tampa to beat Montreal. Third game, Boston against Florida. I have a silly feeling this could be an upset game, but I mean, it's a game Boston should win. Anyway, Florida 3-6-1 in their last 10, current 1-game losing streak. Drieger is probable, listed as probable, but if Bobrovsky is feeling all right, I'm pretty sure he's going to get the nod between the pipes. Their last game was a 3-0 loss to Calgary. Boston 8-2-0 with a current 3-game winning streak. First in the Atlantic, and Halleck has confirmed, I think he's been confirmed in net for Boston. Their last game was a 2-1 win over Tampa. Game at peace between these two teams. Panthers 5-4 in November, and then the Bruins 4-2 in December. Brad Marchand will not be playing in this game due to an illness, I think food poisoning. Florida is 0-7 straight up in their last 7 games at home, while Boston is 5-1 straight up in their last 6 games on the road. So Boston, although one of the strongest home teams in the league, they're playing well on the road now too. I'm picking Boston here. Third pick, Boston to beat Florida. Fourth game, Washington against the New York Rangers. New York Rangers 6-4-0, current 3-game losing streak. Gorgiev, I believe, is probable for the Rangers, and their last game was a 3-1 loss to St. Louis. Washington 4-5-1 in their last 10, current 1-game losing streak. First in the Metropolitan, and Samsonov has been confirmed in net for Washington. Their last game was a 5-3 loss to the Flyers. These teams have played twice this season and each have won a game. The Capitals 5-2 in October, the Rangers 4-1 in November. The Rangers have been hurting ever since they've got a couple injuries, a goaltending injury, and obviously one of their main guys. And Washington seemed, again, I think I said in my last video, they're winning a game, losing a game, winning a game, losing a game. It'd be great to see the Rangers pull out a win here, but I can't see it happening. I see Washington I see Washington winning this game. I'm going to pick Washington to win over the Rangers. Fifth game, Carolina against Philadelphia. Philadelphia 8-2-0, current 7-game winning streak. Second in the Metropolitan. Hart has been confirmed in net for Philadelphia. Carolina is 4-4-2 in their last 10 with an overtime decision. Frosberg is probable in net for Carolina. Last game was a 4-3 loss to the Canadiens in overtime. The Flyers lead the season series 2-1. Flyers 4-1 in November, 5-3 in November, and then the Hurricanes 5-4 in January. The Flyers are getting scoring from lots of players, and I've mentioned that before as well, but that's something I really like to see because it shows that the team's really connecting in a lot of ways. And Carolina, I don't know how they're going to start this. I mean, they got a hectic 5-game road trip coming up here and a hectic March. So they're going to have to pace themselves, and I don't think they're going to be able to, I know they're rested and stuff. Philadelphia played. I just see Philadelphia continuing, getting number 8 here. I'm going to take Philadelphia to beat Carolina. 6th game, and I'm going to make the 6th game my best bet, and that's New York Islanders. New York Islanders against Ottawa. Ottawa 4-5-1, current 1-game losing streak. Hogberg is probable in net. If he's back, I think he had to go to Sweden for some personal reasons. So Anderson might get the nod. I'm not sure there. The last game was a 7-3 loss to the Penguins. The Islanders 2-6-2 in their last 10, current 2-game losing streak. Second wild card position. Varlamov is probable in net for the Islanders, and their last game was a terrible 6-2 loss to Montreal. The Islanders lead the season series. They won 4-2 back in October and 4-1 in November. Ottawa has lost 6 in a row to the Islanders. This is the first game that Pajou will be back in Ottawa after the Islanders acquired him, and he's been doing well. I think he got a goal in his first 2 appearances, so that's a little bit of stuff to work out there. But I see the Islanders. I've said it a lot of times. I like the Islanders. I think the Islanders are a talented team. I think they've got a bump in the road here, and this might be where they get back on track. But I'm going to call it my best bet. I'm also going to look at some, puck line -1.5 Islanders here. Anyway, 6th game, Islanders over Ottawa. 7th game, Dallas against Nashville. Nashville 5-4-1, current 3-game losing streak. Saros is probable in net, and their last game was a 3-1 loss to Minnesota. Dallas 5-2-3 in their last 10 with 2 overtime decisions. Third in the Central, Bishop is probable in net. Their last game was an overtime loss to the Oilers 2-1. Another great game. The Stars have won both games they have played against Nashville, 4-1 in December, 4-2 in January. This is the first game in a home-to-home series playing against each other. This coming Saturday, Nashville will be going to Dallas, and they'll be playing in Dallas. This is one of those games where I think Dallas should win this game, but I'm going to call Nashville. I just have a feeling Nashville's going to break their little losing streak. I don't think they're going to win both games against Dallas, but I think they might take the first one. So 7th pick, Nashville over Dallas. 8th game, and I think maybe the most exciting game to watch, Edmonton against Chicago. Chicago 5-5-0 in their last 10, current 3-game winning streak. Crawford is probable listed. Their last game was a 6-2 win over the Ducks. Edmonton 6-2-2, current 3-game winning streak. Second in the Pacific. Koskinen is probable, and their last game was a 2-1 overtime win against Dallas. Game apiece in this series, 3-1 in October for the Hawks and 5-3 in February for the Oilers. Chicago has scored 19 goals in their last 4 games. Crawford has been in goal for Chicago in its last 3 wins, stopping 111 shots out of 117 shots. Again, it's a real tough one to pick because Edmonton's a really strong road team. And Chicago's going to have to watch penalties against the league's best power play team. Yet Chicago's killed 11 out of 11 penalties in those last 3 wins. Again, I'm going to take Chicago at home. I'm going to take Chicago to beat Edmonton at home. 9th game, Toronto against Los Angeles. Los Angeles 6-3-1, current 3-game winning streak. Quick is probable in net for Los Angeles. Last game was a 4-1 victory against the Golden Knights. Toronto 5-5-0, current 1-game losing streak. Third in the Atlantic, and Frederik Andersen is listed as probable for Toronto. Their last game was a 5-2 loss to San Jose, where I think they had a 3-1 lead at one time. The Leafs won the first time these teams met, 3-1 back in November. Anderson has an 8-1-2 career mark versus the Kings. So I like that. I'm big on goalies, and I think that is important to note. And yet, you know, although the season's going to be short for LA, I mean, they're one of the first teams that's going to be hitting the golf course. They're not making, I mean, they're done. But they've been playing good hockey. I think they're 6-3 straight up in their last 9. And they've been beating some good teams. But, I mean, they beat the Golden Knights 4-1. I just can't see Toronto losing this game. I think the money line consensus on some websites says Los Angeles is going to win this game, but I'm picking Toronto. Toronto to beat Los Angeles for my 9th pick. On to the 10th and final game. Minnesota against San Jose. San Jose 5-5-0 with a current 3-game winning streak. Jones has been confirmed in net for San Jose, and their last game was a 5-2 win over Toronto. Minnesota 6-3-1 in their last 10, current 1-game winning streak. Dubnyk is listed as probable, and their last game was a 3-1 win against Nashville. The Sharks won the first 2 games that these teams met, 6-5 in November and 2-0 in February. The Sharks are going to be looking to sweep. And before their win over Toronto, the Sharks also beat Pittsburgh 5-0. So the Sharks are putting some pucks in the net. Yet on Minnesota's side, they've got so much talent and so many players. Fiala has been in a zone and a force. 11 points in his last 5 games. Dumba's playing well. Lines balanced. Yeah, they're trending. I like Minnesota. Minnesota is going to stop the San Jose team. 10th pick, Minnesota. So I'll just review those picks quick. I'm going to take Buffalo to beat Pittsburgh. I'm going to take Tampa to beat Montreal. Boston to beat Florida. Washington to beat the Rangers. Philadelphia to beat Carolina. I'm going to take the Islanders to beat Ottawa. Nashville to beat Dallas. Chicago to beat Edmonton. Toronto to beat Los Angeles. And Minnesota to beat San Jose. My best bet, again, is the Islanders to beat Ottawa. And all the lines aren't out because I'd like to see what's going on between Washington and the Rangers, but the lines aren't out there, and they're not out for Boston, Florida, Carolina, and Philly. So far, the bets I'm placing, I'm going to go the Islanders puck line -1.5 at +167. I'm going to go Minnesota money line -115. I'm going to go Toronto puck line -1.5 at +140. And then that Tampa game, I might look at the over. I mean, it's set at 6.5, but I just see a lot of goals being scored there. The over's at -105. So I might check that in the morning too, and if it looks good, I'll place a bet. Anyway, happy Hump Day Hockey. It's Wednesday, and good luck with your picks. Thanks for watching, and good luck.